As we gather together today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we're privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Prior to adoption of the agenda, the council meeting is to be conducted electronically via Zoom due to the prevalence of COVID-19 and the provincial state of emergency. Is there any new business that we need to add prior to adoption of the agenda? Councillor Galbraith?
Yes, so I would like to add to the agenda a conversation about monthly verbal updates from department heads, if we could, please.
Under new business, is there any more that needs to be added to new business? Not seeing any. Adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor? Carried. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on March 1st, 2021.
Motion to receive. Oh, sorry, second.
Okay. No omissions in that. No discussion. All those in favor? Carried. See no delegations. Bylaw B1, District of Chetwynd Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw number 1129, 2021, 52nd Street Northwest requires third reading and adoption.
Move third reading and adoption.
Second.
Well, discussion, all those in favor? Carried. B2, the District of Chetwynd Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1130, 2021, 52nd Street Northwest requires third reading and adoption.
Motion to move third reading and adoption.
Second.
Second, Mel. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. We're on to community reports and liaison reports. I got a little stuff on the PRD and what we've been working on in the PRD for council's information and for the Chetwynd residents information on Gotta Go, the Alaska Highway. Karen Goodings Director Goodings brought to our attention that we needed some facilities along the Alaska Highway. This was started, I believe, in 2016 was what I could get out of our information that I went back for, and they were talking about public washrooms then, and it kind of morphed into public washrooms and Wi-Fi and a little bench along the way going down the Alaska Highway. So there was some participants that she requested that we all be participate in this venture, Gotta Go. So that was, I heard about it. She talked to four of us that convinced the Tumbler Ridge, Hudson Hope, Taylor, and ourselves to get involved with the Gotta Go program that would help. And it came prevalent in 2019 here with the COVID, and then it became a safety factor when we had some incidents of that happened with the two young fellas in the north that had a terrible incident with the tourists in the north where we couldn't contact them, or it became a safety issue then. So anyway, that's kind of what spurred me to put my foot forward, and hopefully it would be in council's favor that we continue to go in this way, that we help out in the Alaska Highway. And it helps out with the tourism industry, that tourists do travel to the Alaska Highway. And I know we're not part of the Alaska Highway per se, but from coming in from the Rockies, they pass through here, going to the Alaska Highway, going to the Mile Zero City in Dawson, and then continuing up, or go through Hudson Hope and go through the Alaska Highway. And if we're a hunter here in town and in the area, we do go up to the Sikkimi, and we do go through the Alaska Highway. And then we have our hockey teams that go up to Fort Nelson. So they don't have these spots that we can stop in and check our Wi-Fi and use the facilities. So it was quite important to me that Karen, I was glad Karen asked me, Karen Goodings, Director Goodings asked me to become a participant. And one of the questions was asked, why aren't the big fellas like Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, and the other electorate areas involved? And they had said, well, if they had the numbers, I have a breakdown of what the numbers would be in the budget. So Karen Gooding's Area B alone is doing 246,618. So that left the rest of us with amounts of 15,705 for Chetwynd, 10,799 for Taylor, 10,061 for Hudson Hope, and Tumbler Ridge, 16,817. So she wanted our participation because she needed other directors' support. The other directors being elected in Dan Rose's area here, he says right now he has more on his plate than to be funding something that goes up to somebody else's area. But my response to that was, we are a whole area as a tourist attraction, and that's being one of the biggest ones in the area, the Alaska Highway itself. And it's a corridor that they have to come through Chetwynd to get to the Alaska Highway, and then when they're heading home, they come through Chetwynd again. So, and the transportation, or let's say not the transportation, but the tourism part of it, they were very pleased that Chetwynd and them were backing Karen Goodings on this Gotta Go program. So that was mine from the PRD. And if any of the councillors has more questions for me, I will gather up all the information and I will distribute to the council in the future here. So, and one other part is that it will be costing us a few for the 15,000. And for the breakdown, I'm just going to ask Kevin to give us a little breakdown first of that, what it might cost citizens, and then I'll take a few questions. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, a preliminary calculation, it would cost the average homeowner in Chetwynd less than $1 per month for this program.
And once we get it running and find the final results, it will go down. We will take Janet, then Laura. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, so the money comes from taxes?
Yes.
And is this something that has to go to referendum?
There is going to be was alternate approved process that the PRD will run if we have to run a referendum. Is that true, Carol? Yeah, Carol?
Yeah, the alternative approval process, or also called the AAP, is a process where if 10% of the eligible electorate disputes the bylaw, then it will overturn the bylaw. So the PRD is going to put out some public information and run that process in Chetwynd for Chetwynd residents.
Okay, and so this is to bill, I mean, I don't know, provide more rest stops and internet?
Yes,
Yeah, they'll be putting some towers up along the highway so that people will have cell coverage on that highway.
Excellent. And now it wouldn't be the whole Alaska Highway. How far north would it go?
we're going probably up to, it's the Northern Rockies, right? Once carrying Goodings area. And
Okay.
we had a memorandum of understanding that we sent them $60,000 to start their process in the north. So yes,
Thank
it
you.
goes quite a ways. I will get all that information for you and get the map and all that for you, for the counselors. Laura?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I just had one question. What about maintenance? Like who would be responsible for cleaning the toilets and picking up the garbage and
Yeah, that would be the
Stuff like that.
PRD once we have this in place. I believe we're building a bylaw for this
Right on.
service. Yeah. Did I miss anything with that bylaw thing there, Carol? I believe Yep.
Just that there'll be a lot more information coming because the PRD will want to provide that information for residents to be able to have all the background to make their choice on whether they want it or not.
okay, with that, we will get more information to council and the citizens will get it through the PRD. And we probably could provide a little bit too if somebody was to ask me, and I could look back into the archives and check it out. So with that being said, I would like to say that, Carol?
Oh, Councillor Galbraith had a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's not a question. I just have a report.
Okay, yeah,
I
you bet.
just have
So anyway, I'd like to say thank you for listening, and if you need any more, just don't be afraid to contact me or Carol. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Galbraith.
Thank you. Okay, so I did have my BC Hydro GoFund meeting March 11th, and we only had one application this round. And so once that organization has been notified of the decision on their application, then it'll be announced. But just a little overall idea what the BC Hydro GoFund does. Since it's been established, it's approved over 56 projects with a total of over $490,000 in support of, and that's Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, Taylor, Hudson's Hope, Chetwynd, and the regional districts in the area. So, and there's still over $84,000 in the account this year to grant out to nonprofit organizations. And these grants are available up to a maximum of $10,000. So if there's any nonprofits out there looking for funding, they should really go check out the Northern Development website, because these funds are used for programs for vulnerable, programs for seniors, children, and community development and stuff like that. So it is certainly worth the try to apply for these funds. So, and we just want to give away some more money. So there you go. That's my report.
That's great, Councilor Galbraith. So anybody out there listening, and councilors too, that have anybody that needs and can get this assistance, it's pretty important that BC Hydro wants to help out. So that's great. Thank you, Councilor Galbraith. Is there any other reports?
I just have a question.
Yes, Laura.
Hey,
Councilor Reisberger. Yes. Oh,
they add Dawson Creek now? Because Dawson never was part of this.
Pardon me?
I said, did they add Dawson Creek? Because Dawson Creek
Yeah.
wasn't part of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Northern Development has many different programs out there, but the GoFund absolutely includes Dawson Creek. Yeah.
Okay, it didn't when I was on it because they weren't part of the dam. Like they weren't close enough to the dam, so we chose not to have Dawson as part of it. But they must have added it. Interesting. Thanks.
yep. Any other reports? Okay, not hearing any. Go to discussion items. Okay. Discussion item number 1, email from the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy dated February 19th, 2021, BC Parks Hole in the Wall Park Edition.
Well, just to start the conversation, I'll make the recommendation that council support the proposed addition to Hole in the Wall Park and welcome the increased park area as an opportunity for visitors and residents to be active and enjoy the natural beauty of this area.
Do you hear a second? Clay seconds. Discussion.
So I have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor Ward.
Okay, so how is this going to affect the activity that's happening there now? How will this change anything?
I believe I heard that there was some construction that was being done close to the area. So I believe this would probably, they would have to go in and investigate and further if it is a park, right? So we're.
I'm sorry, Mayor Coutre, I didn't hear the last part of what you said. How will it change?
I believe if it's deemed a park, they will have to investigate if there's any industry or anything that outside the park or near the park that is, I have the distinction, right?
Your worship, Carol has a question.
Yes, go ahead, Carol. I was just reading. Go ahead.
I was just looking at the map, and it appears that currently the hole in the wall spring is not included in the actual park. So it looks like they're adding an addition to include that spring in the parklands there to protect
Right.
it most likely.
Yes.
Right. So will that mean the activity that's taking place there now will stop? The industrial activity?
I don't know the legitimize that part. I think it would have to be involved if it's being started prior to them becoming a park. They would have to go through other means. I'm not too sure about that, Janet, Councillor Ward, but I don't believe so. It would have to go to the minister with that. Go ahead, Clay.
Just an observation, it's looking like there's a huge chunk of the road that's already going through the existing park. So I wouldn't think that this addition would really change anything one way or another.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I guess we're gonna have to look into it, Councillor Work, and I will contact the ministry, and we will get some answers.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Any more discussion on it? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Galbraith.
So I guess my concern is how can we support this if we still have questions? Those are very legitimate questions. I guess maybe can we go back and send them a letter to ask these questions, and then we'll have we'll be able to make a more educated decision.
Yeah, for sure. Carol?
We could definitely do that, but our submission is supposed to be in by the 19th, I believe, of March. Well, I could email them and email you and let you know what the answer is, if you'd like.
I think that would be the only fair way to do it. I would not want to support something if we have so many unanswered questions. So
Go ahead, Councillor Wark.
Well, although we have questions about what this means for industrial activity, I would still want to make that motion to support the proposed addition of the park, just increasing the size of the park. That protects it, right? So, I mean, I'm still in favor of that.
well, does it still protect it though? Does it still protect it? I mean, if they were to come back and say yes, it will protect it, then I would agree we should support that. But
Well,
I
I
don't,
mean,
I
it
don't know
does
enough
say-
about it.
It does say for an opportunity for visitors and residents to be active and enjoy the natural beauty of this area. So to me, that is protecting it, keeping it a park, increasing the area of that park. Still having the questions about the industrial activity, of course.
That's right.
So,
We're only looking at what's happening right now, and the future. The future is probably what we might be referring to when we say that it's going to protect what we have now. But we're just unsure of the industry that's happening today, if it's protected from that.
Right.
So that's the information we want to get, is what will happen to the industry today that's happening on site.
Correct.
Okay, so we could still vote that if that's what we got the motion on there right now is to support. Any more any more question? Okay, we'll on letters on the support, the motion to support. All those in favor? 3. All those opposed? Motion carries. Support. Okay, D1, 2, we've got virtual 2021 North Central Local Government Association, AGM and conference registration.
I would make that motion that council authorize all members. Sorry, I've lost it. That council authorize all members of council to attend the virtual 2021 North Central Local Government Association AGM and convention, May 5th and 6th, 2021.
I'll second that.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Discussion items. Okay. Email from the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy dated February 19th, 2021. Oh, I just went through that, right?
No, we just need a motion to receive.
Okay, perfect.
Motion
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Councilor Galbraith.
Motion to receive.
I'll
You have a
second that.
motion? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, carried. And we're on to correspondence, is that it?
Information items.
Information items.
Okay, we've got information items 1 to 121. Is there anything that needs to be brought out from the information items, councillors?
I'd make that motion to receive I-1 to I-21.
Second by Councillor Wark. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, reports for action. We've got a couple here. We've got RA1, request for temporary use permit, Ron Milner, DBA Flight Camp and Catering, Inc. Okay, this portion of the regular council meeting. Go ahead, Councillor Galbraith.
I believe Carol had something to add.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh, no,
Carol?
I was just going to talk about the opportunity for public input, which you were just reading, so that's great. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
yes. This portion of the regular council meeting is set aside to allow for public comments on the application for Ron Milner, DBA Flight Camp and Catering Inc. for a temporary use permit at 4414 44th Avenue Northeast to allow 150-person work camp for the period up to 3 years. This is not a formal public hearing process, but rather an informal process. I will, however, ask each person who wishes to speak to state their name and residential or business address and then provide council with their comment. I will now ask if any comments from the public at the application, on the application from Ron Milner, DBA Flight Camp and Catering Inc. for a temporary use permit 4414 at 44th Avenue Northeast. Any comments? Any comments from the public? Are there any other further comments from the public? Hearing no further comments, I declare this public proceedings concluded. Okay, correspondence received from Modi, Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure. Okay, the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure has received and reviewed your referral for March 1st, 2021 regarding a temporary use permit for Dave Milner, Ron Milner, and Lauren Waldy for the purpose of allowing temporary 150-person work camp on property located 4400 44th Avenue for a period of 1 year within Lot 7 District, Lot 1814 Peace River District, Plan 27005. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure has no concerns with the proposal. Thank you for the opportunity. If you or your proponents have any questions or concerns, please contact Kelsey Wilshorst at 250-787-3279. Sincerely yours, Kelsey Wilshorst, District Developer Officer. Okay. So we got RA2, request for temporary use permit, Black Diamond Limited Partnership. This portion of the regular council meeting is set aside to allow the public to comment on the application from Black Diamond Limited Partnership for a temporary use permit at 4346 Drive Northeast to allow 266-person work camp for a period of up to 3 years. This is not a formal public hearing process, but rather an informal process. I will, however, ask each person who wishes to speak to state their name and residential or business address, and then provide council with their comments. I will now ask if there are any comments from the public for the application from Black Diamond Limited Partnership for a temporary use permit 4300 at 4346 North Drive Northeast. Any public comments? Hearing no further comments, I declare this public proceedings concluded. Correspondence received from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. Okay, so I have a The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, MODI, has received and reviewed your referral on February 24th, 2021 for a temporary use permit located to locate at 266 person work camp at Lot A, DL 2092, Peace River, Plan PGP 27362, accept Plan BCP 47696. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure has no concerns with with the proposal. Thank you for the opportunity to comment. If you have or the proponents have any questions or concerns, please contact Kelsey Wiltworth at 250-654-9575. Sincerely, Kelsey, the District Developer Officer.
Go ahead, Carol. I
Okay.
don't think you can see you.
Go ahead, Carol.
Oh, I was just wondering, does council want to go back and consider the recommendation for RA1 and then RA2? Do you want to do them RA1 first?
Oh, correct. Oh, that's correct, Carol. Okay.
You bet. I can make that recommendation. That council authorize the issuance of temporary use permit WO1 2020 to Ron Milner, doing business as flight camp and catering for the purpose of allowing the temporary location of 150 person work camp on property located at 4414 44th Avenue Northeast, Chetwynd, BC, for a period of up to 3 years to begin in October 2021.
Okay, Councillor Bazandowski, second. Discussion. Councillor Galbraith.
Yeah, so we've done this like what it's been about 3 years ago. We with our other applications from Black Diamond and the other Milner. I'm wondering if it's something that we should think about to do a 1 year. And I understand they can do this once or after this once. But we don't know what our hotels are going to look like, our motels, and the same discussion as last time. If they're not full, I don't feel that it's fair that we fill up the camps before we fill up the motels. So I would be up for doing a 1 year permit, and even the MOT, was okay for 1 year. So but we don't know what 2 years is going to look like, and we certainly don't know what 3 is going to look like. But I would be up for that.
Councillor Weisgerber.
Yeah, I don't see the point of it myself. These camps have proven themselves that if they're not busy, they're not open. I mean, they haven't taken business away from the hotels before. I think they're pretty responsible, and they've proven themselves. It's a lot of time and money for them to come back in a year and do the exact same thing. And I think at that time, we'd probably issue it again to them. So I just think doing the 3 years, getting it done now would be the advisable thing for us to do.
Councillors, any more discussion? Mine is that the future in the next 3 to 5 years is probably, it looks really good here in Chetwynd. And I agree with Councillor Weisgerber that giving them 3 years would be the deal to make sure that they're not. I know if I owned a business, I would like to know for sure. And the 3 years isn't, it looks like it should be the proper thing to do. Councillors? Okay. We will, do we have the motion to make it 3 years?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Correct. Okay. On that motion, everybody, all in favor? Okay. All those opposed? Noted. Councillor Galbraith? Okay, motion passes. Okay, we'll go to RA2. Temporary use permit for that Black Diamond.
Okay, I can read that recommendation. Authorize the assurance of temporary use permit 02-2021 to Black Diamond Limited Partners to temporarily locate 266 person work camp in the industrial subdivision of 4346 North Drive Northeast, Chetwynd, for a period of 3 years to begin October 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor of the motion? Those opposed? Noted. Councillor Galbraith? Okay. Motion passes. Where were we on where the mayor was getting sidetracked with the correspondence?
RA3 now.
Okay. Non-medical cannabis retail store license TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company Limited, 9-5021 49th Avenue Northwest.
I'll make that recommendation. The council authorize a public input opportunity during the regular council meeting on April 6, 2021, beginning at 4:30 p.m. with regard to the application from TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company Limited for a retail cannabis establishment at number 9-5021 49th Avenue Northwest, and that council provide comments for submission to the LCRB.
I would second that.
Councilor Galvez, second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Carried. RA4 Housing Needs Assessment Report. Recommendations.
Make that recommendation that council receive the document entitled Housing Needs Report Chetwynd included with this report as attachment A in accordance with section 585.31 of the Local Government Act, and further that the report be published to the District of Chetwynd's website, which is publicly and freely accessible.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
that.
Okay, Councillor Deck, second. Any discussion? Carol, did we have a little bit on that report, which is good for Chetwynd because we could use it for the data there is useful to the District of Chetwynd. So for housing needs, I think this is a good report.
Yeah. It's unfortunately the only stats they had are 5 years old, but we're legislated now to repeat this housing needs report every 5 years, and there are grants readily available. So after the 2021 census, we'll update the report, but it does show that there is a need in Chetwynd for housing, particularly at both ends of the spectrum, for affordable housing and also for high-end housing. So in the middle, it shows the medium cost housing is probably adequate, but there are gaps at either ends of the poles. So this will help us to be able to apply for funding for on behalf of people who want to do some development. We know at least there's the NDIT grant, Dollars for Doors, which is $10,000 per unit, and somebody's already expressed interest in making use of that grant. So I think that this housing needs report will be very useful for helping us to help those who want to do some development in Chetwynd in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Galbraith?
Yeah, so are we talking about we're talking about the housing needs report from the regional district?
Correct.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. I just needed to be clear on that.
Any more discussion? Okay. On receiving the information, the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Uh-oh. Okay, RA5, respectful workplace policy.
I'll make that recommendation that council rescind the anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policy 01350606 endorsed on June 6, 2006, and approve the respectful workplace policy included as attachment A with this report.
Second. Councillor Bazandowski, second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Chetwynd Community Spray Park.
I can make that recommendation. The council authorize the purchase of the spray park equipment from REC Rec Tech Industries for $123,224.10, including PST and GST for the Chetwynd Community Spray Park.
Bazandowski, second. Discussion.
It's very exciting.
Yes, very exciting for sure. And do we have Ellen? Oh, I see her. Yep, there. Ellen, did we get anything from the PRD on this? Just for clarity on, did they have any issues with what we were doing? Or Carol?
Sure. I thought Ellen might be trying to switch off her mute button, but so the PRD approved the location of the water park in their February board meeting. So the PRD is on board with it. We've also got a lot of donations and sponsorships and more on the way. So it looks like it's a project that the community is really looking forward to.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Do we need to? Yeah. Okay, all those in favor? And those opposed? Okay, carried. Reports for information, February accounts payable checks list. What do we got here?
I'll make the recommendation that the check register for the month of February 2021 totaling $498,129.21 be received.
I would second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Carried. We're down to new business. I believe Councillor Galbraith.
Yeah, so I guess I would just like to have a conversation about whether, well, I would like to have a monthly update from our department heads as to what's going on in their departments, what are they doing, what have they got on the go, what's forecasted, and just to keep us up to date as to summer's coming. I know we're going to be busy, and just to keep us up to date. So when people ask us questions like, what are they doing? At least we'll know what they're doing. And maybe not to put them on the spot tonight, but perhaps maybe the first Monday of every month, they could present us with a nice little update as to what the month looks like and ongoing projects and things like that. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. And every once in a while, the mayor does put Desiree on the hot seat there. And so anyway, that's very good. And I believe that they are responsible enough to bring us reports. And so with a request like that, I think it would be in their realm to give the council and the citizens, because this is a public venue. So that would be nice. Carol,
Yeah, we can definitely do that if council wishes.
any more discussion? Everybody's thumbs up.
Do they need a motion? Do they need direction?
I don't know on this one, eh?
I'm sorry, what was that?
She was just wondering if they need direction. I believe this is direction enough. I don't think we need a motion because it's going to be there forever, right?
Okay.
Yeah, just bring us a report. And if it doesn't come to fruition, we'll just make a motion. How's that, Councillor Galbraith?
Well, let's just maybe do it tonight. We'll just make, then we don't have to
Okay,
come back
okay,
and do it.
for
And
sure.
it's clear, and then everybody knows what they're doing. So I would make that motion that on the first Monday of every month, department heads bring us an update as to the goings on and projections for their department for the month.
I need a second.
Second that.
Okay. Discussion. All those in favor? Or opposed? Okay. Carried. There we go. We got it. We got it captured. Okay. At this time, is there any public questions for what we discussed at our meeting today? Not seeing or hearing any, I will ask for adjournment.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Okay, thank you. Make sure you still wear your mask, wash your hands, and hopefully the vaccine will do everybody great things. So thank you very much. We'll see you.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.